and welcome to Pokemon TCG Daily, a guide to the Pokemon trading card game, episode 2, What's a Pokemon Expansion? Fellow trainers, I hope you're having a fantastic day whenever you're watching this, so let's go ahead and get started. Today we have Squirtle here to help us answer the question that I just asked in this video. We are going to be going over what makes the context of a Pokemon trading card expansion. In my first video, we broke down what's a Pokemon booster pack, so I also recommend checking that out as well, as this does kind of build off of that first video. But with that, let's go ahead and get started. So, what's an expansion in a trading card game? An expansion in a trading card game, in most trading card games, trading cards belong to a specific set within a trading card game. This is what is called an expansion. This isn't just exclusive to Pokemon either. Magic the Gathering, Yu-Gi-Oh!, even digital trading card games, each of those belong to individual sets within the trading card game. This is a reason why we make new sets. A new set of cards comes out to refresh the game and give players new ways to play the game with new implemental strategies of new and old cards. It basically keeps a trading card game fresh and interesting for both old and new players. I didn't put this reason in here, but of course they do make new trading card games because as new trading cards come out too, Pokemon needs to make money. You also want to buy the new cards then too, so you can keep up with the meta. And have your deck being good as well. I'll get into those kind of concepts later too, because when you are playing Pokemon, at least my experience with Pokemon, when I have invested and bought in cards in the game, I have used cards for years on out. Cards that I've gotten 4 or 5 years ago, I am still using in some decks today, but I'll get into that in another video though. Here, I'm going to briefly explain what a base set expansion is before I start showing all the different expansions that have come out in recent years. Base set expansions are the first set release in any new generation of a Pokemon video game. This does correlate to when a new Pokemon video game comes out. Sword and Shield just got released. It would have been base set Sun and Moon. But there's one concept I didn't want to just glance over. The term generation. What does that mean in Pokemon? I want my videos to be, I like to imagine for the first time, if someone's watching this video, they have no background of Pokemon or the trading card game. A generation is a grouping of Pokemon that separates them based on the Pokemon they include. So for instance, Squirtle is a Gen 1 Pokemon. If you play an old school Pokemon, Charizard, Pikachu, Bulbasaur, all those guys are Gen 1. Suicune, Chikorita, Cyndaquil, Gen 2, Gen 3, we're thinking Kyogre, Groudon, Trico, those guys, and then we start getting up to Gen 4, the newer guys. I can make an entire video on that as well, but in relation to the video game, it was important to explain because base set expansions are then expanded upon with future sets. So we start with the base set expansion, and then we have different names for the ones that are to follow. At least that's how it is in Pokemon. Typically, when a new base set is released and it introduces a major new mechanic to the trading card game, I will be going over trading card game mechanics and even how to play the game in future videos as well. But let's go ahead and start taking a look at expansions from 2014. In 2014, we had base set XY. You can see the base set XY at the far left over there. That came out in 2014. A couple months later, we got XY Flashfire in May. A few months to follow that, this is when I started getting into the Pokemon trading card game. We got Fury's Fist. And then in November of 2014, we also got Phantom Forces. Those were expansions of that year. My last video, a reminder, goes over what is typically found in Pokemon booster packs, so don't forget to check that out. In 2015, we also got some really amazing sets. We got Primal Clash in February of 2015. May, we got the awesome Roaring Skies. There were some really essential cards in there. Shaman EX, I'm thinking about you right now. Ancient Origins came out in August of 2015. And Breakthrough came through in November of 2015. Right there, new Pokemon expansions are released just about every 3 months. And as I'm recording the audio over this, a new set did just come out. Let's go ahead. We have XY expansions. So these were the last 4 XY expansions that came out in 2016. We had Breakpoint, Fates Collide in May of 2016, Steam Sage, and Evolutions. Evolutions was a really cool set. They were featured new cards, but artwork of old Pokemon cards, so they did look like the old base set Pokemon cards. XY expansions came out from late 2013 through 2016, mostly at the start of 2014. We have next year, we have Sun and Moon. If you've just been getting into Pokemon, then you probably have seen Sun and Moon booster packs in stores. We had base set Sun and Moon at the far left there. So, like I said, this was the start of a new generation of Pokemon. This was generation 6, 7. I'm blanking on this right now as I'm recording this, but I'm not. Generation 7 with Sun and Moon. Yep. Generation 7 was Sun and Moon. So we had the base set Sun and Moon. So then after that, we got Sun and Moon Guardian and Rising a couple months later in May. We got Burning Shadows in August. And then we got Crimson Invasion in November. Each expansion will feature cards exclusive to that set. That's a point I went over in my first video. So cards that you get in Sun and Moon, base set Sun and Moon, you can't get those cards. The cards in this booster pack you cannot get in Sun and Moon Guardian Rising. You can't get Sun and Moon Guardian Rising booster packs in Burning Shadow ones, and so forth. Next on the list from Sun and Moon expansions, we also had the awesome Ultra Prism, Forbidden Light, Celestial Storm. I think I have the dates up there. February 2018, we got Ultra Prism. May of 2018, we got Forbidden Light, Celestial Storm in August of that year, and then we got Lost Thunder. This is when things started to really ramp up in the Pokemon trading card game, when the game started becoming a lot more fast-paced and had expansions post Sun and Moon have typically featured 200 plus cards. So within each of these expansions, there have been over 200 cards that have been made for each of these sets. As sets in the past couple years, expansions the past couple years have gotten huge. People use the term set and expansion interchangeably. Most of the time, people are talking about the same thing. We're getting here towards the end of most recent expansions. We had Team Up, which was groundbreaking for the game, featuring Pokemon with huge HP. Like I said, I will go over that in more depth. That came out in February just of last year. Unbroken Bonds came out in May. We had Unified Minds in August, and then we had Cosmic Eclipse, which came out in just this last November and was the last Sun and Moon set, which future videos will go over individual sets and mechanics and just kind of cool cards that came out within each of those sets. Brings us to our most recent 3 expansions. We had base set Sword and Shield. So this is the fresh new Pokemon cards that just came out this year. We had base set Sword and Shield, which came out in February. Rebel Clash, I forgot to put the date there in this slide for Rebel Clash came out in May of 2020, and I'm going to be too lazy and go back and edit that video. But you can see the spread here. About every 3 to 4 months are when new Pokemon expansions come out. I pulled a really good card from Darkness Ablaze. I am super happy about that. Our most recent expansions, yeah, good job, Squirtle. May of 2020, it looks like I had that there already. There are some older expansions that are still relevant to the metagame today if we play an expanded format. I threw another word out there. I'm going to get back to that. But there are cards that do go back that people use still in competitive play. Base set Black and White. This was before the first part of the video I showed of XY. These cards came out in 2011. We had base set Black and White. Black and White Emerging Powers came out in August 2011. Black and White Noble Victories came out in November. And then we had Next Destinies, which came out in 2012. Black and White expansions are almost 10 years old, and there are cards from these sets that we can still use in some decks today. I will get into that more in the future. I am going to kind of go through these a little bit faster, but just so you can kind of get a glimpse of what Pokemon artwork used to like. We had Dark Explorers, Dragons Exalted. I played a little bit, had some cards from that set. Boundaries Cross, Plasma Store. When these were the meta, I wasn't playing too much then. Certain Pokemon tournaments still feature cards from these expansions. I will get into that in a future video. Last but not least, I think these were the last ones. May 2013, Plasma Freeze. August 2013, we got Plasma Blast. This was more around the time when I started playing in base set X and Y2, because these booster packs could still be found in stores. Black and White had 11 main sets as opposed to the ones we looked at earlier, which had consecutively had 4 sets each. And our expansions, this is just kind of nice information to know. Our expansions are based off of the Japanese set. Japanese release new Pokemon cards before they are released in our expansions. They go over there first. Japanese release new cards at a closer to monthly rate. I'm not going to get too much into this. This is more just extra extra information. And then every few months, we get a combination of all those sets in Japan. This hasn't always been a hard and set rule, but what I mentioned earlier about Sun and Moon having 200 plus cards, when they started switching up their format and stuff, is when our sets started getting huge. So our current format makes up of 3 to 4 months of all the cards that come out in Japan. This is a quick super overview of Japanese card set. There are YouTubers out there that go a lot more in depth, but you can even look into future cards, what are coming out. The next set, I don't know the name of it off the top of my head. You can look on websites like PokeBeach and stuff. They upload the new sets and the names of those that are coming out already 2 to 3 months. Our new set just dropped, but people are already talking about the next set that is coming out. Okay, one last thing about sets. Pokemon will occasionally release special or mini sets in between main expansion. These are different than the ones I've mentioned so far. The cards released in these sets can also be used for tournaments and in deck construction. Zoric GX, I'm looking at you right now. These cards are viable. These cards have been used in many decks. Also, another set I'm thinking about is Dragon Majesty. A lot of cards from that set. Let's go ahead and look at a couple of these special sets. This time we're starting with Black and White. Black and White had a special Dragon Vault set that came out in January 2012. We had these were the special expansions during the XY era. We had Double Crisis. I never bought too many of these booster packs, so I honestly can't tell you what cards. I think there was a couple stadium cards and other things that were used from this. We had Generation booster packs. This was another special set that came out in February 2016. I bought a lot of Generation booster packs. That I do remember. Typically, these special expansions are found in special Pokemon products like boxes and stuff. You normally don't find these individually. Notice how this booster pack over here is contained in a special packaging. Typically, these kind of Pokemon booster packs come in some kind of special, kind of presentation like that. Special expansions that during the Sun and Moon, all 4 of these had cards that were viable or special. Shining Legends had probably one of the best cards that's ever been made. Zoric GX came out in that set. Dragon Majesty also featured a lot of fire support. Detective Pikachu was also a very unique set as it was based off of the movie Detective Pikachu. It was a super small set, but there were a couple cards that were important out of it, and Hidden Fates was a really cool set that featured reprints of a bunch of cards that came out in previous sets. I will talk about reprints in a future video, but basically, reprints are cards that were previously released, but in Hidden Fates, they released alternate artwork or different styles of Pokemon that had been previously released in previous expansions. Exactly what I said there. Thank you, Squirtle. Some of these special sets have featured alternate artwork, staples in many decks. Detective Pikachu's set featured artwork from the movie. It was a really cool set. Review time. Okay, we made it to the end of this video. It already got a lot longer than I thought it was going to be, but I was going to sum this up one more time. Expansions are a way to implement new cards into a trading card game. Expansions give players a new way to play the game with new implemental strategies and new and/or old cards. New cards to collect, of course. It's really fun to collect cards, even if you're just into collecting cards. I'm more of a competitive player, but I do have my favorite cards that I try to collect. Some people try to collect master sets of everything, which is absolutely crazy. We are at the end of this video, so I wanted to say thank you so much for watching. I was going to go on to the next, originally I was going to talk about 2 things, but next week I will be going over identifying cards to their specific expansion. So we will be looking at cards individually and how to identify those to the specific expansions that we talked about in this video. I'm just going to talk quickly about my favorite place to view Pokemon expansions is honestly PTCGO. I was just going to go over to this screen real quick and show you. PTCGO is free to sign up and play once you have a username and stuff. On here, it has every expansion that I just talked about. It goes back actually before Black and White down here. If you want to look at different expansions. So I click here for Sword and Shield. I hit apply. Even if I don't own all these cards, because you do have to like collect them and stuff, you can see once I click show not own, I can view every single card that is in these individual sets. This is how I study cards before they come out or when they are finally released. We just got the most recent set was added on here. So as I'm making this, Darkness Ablaze is finally out. So this is the most recent Pokemon expansion. You can use different filters and stuff, but it's just really nice to be able to take a look at the cards uh, on a screen and read exactly what they do and what they look like. This is easily my favorite place to look up and study up on new cards, and you can find out right on here what expansion they belong to. You can download this on most on desktop computer, most tablet devices, and for Android, you actually can download it onto your phone. But fellow trainers, I hope this video went on already longer than I thought, but I hope you're having a great day whenever you are watching this. This is the second video in this series. Next week, I think we're going to have Bulbasaur helping us explain the next concept I want to go about, but this will be video number 2. Fellow trainers, I hope you're having a great day whenever you're watching this, and I will see you next time.